Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here, and I want to talk to you today about cleansing emergency water. Now, sometimes we can have a lack of water around, and if we don't have any water stored up in case there is some kind of emergency happens, an earthquake or a hurricane or anything else, and we live in kind of crazy times right now. We need to cleanse some water. Maybe it's a source that we don't normally use. Maybe we have to go down to the river or something. So how do you make that drinkable? First of all, using 4 drops of bleach. 4 drops of bleach to a quart, 8 drops to a gallon. And if it's really dirty, I mean it's yucky, then you might want to go up 2 more drops on that for each. And you have to wait 35 minutes. Let it set, and that's a good way to go. There are things like halazone tablets which will work really well, but no, they're expensive. There's no doubt about it. I bought some bottles of it, but it's not cheap, and everybody has bleach around, and bleach is very inexpensive, and it'll last for a year or so. And now what do? Now you got this maybe not so good looking water, but it's drinkable, and now you want to purify it. Here's a way to do it that I found, which has worked for us in the past. I just take a big, container like this, liquid container, a plastic thing, cut the end off of it, and this is what like this, and cut the other end off, and you can get activated charcoal. This is what they use in aquariums, or you can buy it bulk in aquarium shops. And you can either just pour it right in here, or they come in these bags like this. I'm not going to take it out of the plastic or you can put it in a little bit of cheesecloth or something, and then plop that in here. And sometimes I use 2 of these. Put that down in the bottom. Like I said, I'm not going to take it out of the plastic right now. And then also, at aquarium shops, these are filters. It's a permeable sponge that allows water to go through, but it holds back anything that's a little particle of any kind. And you can buy those in aquarium shops too. And I just throw 3 of these in here and make sure it's a nice tight fit. We're not trying to go for beauty anyway. And then pour your water in, and as it drains out, you'll have good looking water. This is an emergency situation, and I've used this before when I've run out of water going fishing or something like that, and it works fine. It works great. But you still have to get rid of anything that might be living in your water at first with the bleach. And that's important, to have that bleach on hand. Like I said, 4 drops to a quart, 8 drops to a gallon. Let it set for 35 minutes, 35 minutes. And then it will have killed off everything in there. Now, a lot of you say, oh, bleach. Well, is our best alternative. Halazone also is another chemical. But we need water. We got to drink at least a gallon of water every day, and that doesn't even include what we use for, bathing and washing dishes and things like that. So be sure to have this on hand. Storing water. I use some big 50-gallon plastic drums. You can get those at hardware stores, and some of them will have them there. Maybe they're $25, $50, depending on who's selling them at the time. And store water in that, and periodically go out and check them and dump them, and treat them also with the chlorine as either before or after. It doesn't really matter. I usually treat mine both ways. Treat mine before it goes in or after it gets into the big container, and then treat it again if it needs to be. So this is really important, because if you're leaving that water sit there for a while, it might attract more organisms of some kind, bacteria. So make sure you have plenty of water on hand. It's important for life. go about 3 days without water, about 3 weeks without food, and only about 3 minutes without air. So water is important, there's no doubt about it. And you need to take the time to make sure you have a source. Maybe here it rains all the time, so we just have to collect it off the roof. But maybe you don't live in a place where it rains, so you need to go down to the river, or maybe there's somewhere else that you go. Maybe there's a lake nearby, or you know where your sources are. And then collect your water and then treat it with the bleach, and then filter it accordingly. Now this is not for everyday use, there's no doubt about that. This is just for emergency use. You know, you can buy these special pictures that you've seen on TV and that type of thing, but they're expensive, man, $40–50. And this whole thing right here is about $10–15, depending on where you get the charcoal and the filters. And maybe you had an aquarium and you have some of that filter material hanging around. So make sure you have water on hand for all those emergency situations, because it could mean your life. And it's good to know how to treat water so that you can help yourself and also help those around you. Take care. Have a great life.